the 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs. And who better to break this down right now but Rob Collins from Fox 4 in Kansas City. He's been a frequent guest on Big Game Bound. And so it's great to have you in here, and it's been great to meet you in person, Rob.
Yeah, it's been great to see you. You know, I've heard you in my earpiece several times yelling at me. It's like my wife's in another room yelling at me. I'm like, oh, hey, there you are. You're good to go. You're a real person. It's all good, man. It's been great. Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. And so what is it like in Kansas City right now? 50 years since that last Super Bowl, and now here they are a win away from a championship.
It's crazy. Everyone in Kansas City is nuts. Every day is Red Day. We usually have Red Fridays in Kansas City before Chiefs games. Well, it's Red Sunday, it's Red Monday, it's Red Tuesday, it's Red Lunch Day. Everyone going to the cleaner 7 times a week just to pick up their new red stuff. But it's a fever pitch as we get closer to the big game. We're 24 hours or so away now. Folks in Kansas City are going to be glued to their televisions. 50 years of football, Super Bowl, big game futility. They're wanting everyone to raise that trophy, especially Coach Reid.
So you had the Royals win a championship not too long ago, a few years back. How does this compare?
Very similar because they're on the kind of the same track. You know, the Royals in 2014 didn't get to the World Series, fell a little bit short. Kansas City Chiefs last year fell short by 5 inches when Dee Ford lined up offsides and killed everybody's hearts and dreams and desires, and everybody just fell off the map. But it's the same kind of fever pitch. You can't go anywhere in Kansas City, the metro area, without seeing a Patrick Mahomes banner, kids wearing Patrick Mahomes wigs, people naming their kids, their dogs, their goats. Everyone's named Mahomes now in Kansas City. This city is going to go crazy come kickoff time.
Yeah, he's got a lot of Mahomies. Is he reached rock? Is he the biggest rock star in the history of Kansas City?
My goodness, no question about it. I think so. Other than maybe George Brett, he's up there on par. Because whatever Patrick Mahomes does is the gospel in Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes walks down the street in traffic parts. I wish that would do that here in Miami when you walked around and you had to get through traffic. But everything is Patrick Mahomes. He is the unequivocal leader. He is everything in Kansas City. You can't get enough of him no matter what you do. People are eating his cereal and drinking his water. I mean, everybody's eating it.
Well, you think about that one bullet point you want to have on the resume, and that's not just to get to a Super Bowl, but to win one. You think about some of the great quarterbacks of the past, never won a Super Bowl this early in his career. And Jack's talking about rock star status we know about in KC, but nationwide, I mean, we know about Mahomes already, but this would really take him to that elite level status, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think it's ironic and also a good thing that we're in Miami because Patrick Mahomes is well aware of Dan Marino's track, right?
Yeah.
Where you're talking about Dan Marino on the scene, bam, the hottest ticket in the world, get to the Super Bowl, one time. You never got back. So Patrick Mahomes and all the Chiefs are well aware of that. They have the guys on there that have been there, Terrell Suggs and other guys that have been there once, haven't gotten back in a long time, and he's been preaching to those guys, the young guys, because they're a young team. Chiefs are very young. Everybody's pretty young. The big stars are young for sure. So Pennell, the older guys, Suggs, the older guys, are telling these guys, you may not get back, man. You better go out there and take this moment and live it up and don't leave anything back, man. Seize the moment. Seize the day.
Yeah, I don't know who your mayor is. But I know who Len Dawson is.
Yes.
And that was 50 years ago. He won that championship.
Yeah, exactly. And Patrick Mahomes wore that Len Dawson hoodie, the one where the famous one where he's having a Fresca and having a smoke at halftime of the Super Bowl. Mahomes wore that one day coming into the game. And so he is most definitely the guy that everybody will know and has known. And if he wins this game, he will be one of the biggest rock stars, if not the face of the NFL.
Well, you look at this. We got Dr. Oz. I need a checkup. I don't know if my PPO is covered, but we'll go over there and check in and see what's going on. You're inside the belly of the beast, speaking of getting a checkup with the Chiefs. One thing that Jack and I have noticed is the reference to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? Is there truly a kingdom going on over there in KC?
Yeah, it's Chiefs Kingdom. It's just a big group of the Chiefs fans. And you guys, you've been to Arrowhead. You know, people get there at like 5 in the morning before the gates open. I'm serious. There are dudes out there with big trucks. They got their Traeger grills out there. They're grilling. And Andy Reid drives past these dudes every day when he goes in. There's a guy that offers Coach Reid a cheeseburger every morning when he comes in before games. But these guys will get everything ready, open the gates, they'll go in, set everything up, and tailgate for 5 or 6 hours. And the Chiefs Kingdom is strong, it is huge, it is growing all the time, especially because of what Patrick Mahomes can do on the football field.
You think about I've had the privilege to go to basically every venue in the NFL, and you can't beat Kansas City. You think about some of the atmosphere as far as the conditions, sometimes icy, sometimes cold, but we were out there for the playoffs last year. they were out there early. They were ready to rock and roll. And just almost like a college atmosphere when you think about how engaged for every single play the Chiefs fan base is. And so from that perspective, it would be great to see those folks rewarded.
Most definitely. Those dudes are living on the edge of their seat on every play. And inside, you know this, everyone stands up for the game. No one sits down in the lower bowl for all of the Chiefs games. That's how invested everyone in. That's why it hurt so bad when they got so close last year because, you know, I was up in the press box like everybody else, and when we saw the interception, we were like on cloud nine, heard hallelujah from the angels because the futility was over, right? Almost 50 years of it. And then we looked down and saw that laundry on the field. It was devastating to everyone in Chiefs Kingdom. And this was the goal for them. Clark Hunt said it in the preseason. The goal is winning the Super Bowl. They won the Lamar Hunt Trophy, finally put it back in its resting place, its rightful resting place. We all know what Mr. Hunt did for the NFL. But Clark Hunt said that was the goal, and all the players have bought in. That's the goal, win the Super Bowl, not only for the Hunts, but for them and for Andy Reid.
Well, here in Big Game Bound, we go beyond the headlines. We talk about the Chiefs. It's all about Mahomes, Andy Reid. But I think a huge part of this game will be that Chiefs defense because if the Niners are running the ball and burning the clock, you don't see Patrick Mahomes. What kind of onus is on that unit because they know the quicker we get off the field, the quicker we have our stud back out there.
The more you have Patrick Mahomes on the field, the better chance you have to win, right? Obviously, San Francisco knows that with their three-headed monster. They're going to try to run that ball. But Kansas City defense is getting slighted, in my opinion. And, yes, I'm a little bit biased because they've been one of the best defenses in the last 6 weeks in the NFL. They got behind early in the 2 playoff games, yes, but they have Patrick Mahomes. He can bring them back. We saw how fast those dudes can score points. That second quarter was unbelievable when they came back against Texans.
Stunning.
Yeah, it was stunning, just like it was in Oakland at the first of the season. I was at that game in Oakland when Mahomes hooked up with Sammy Watkins and Mecole, 4 touchdowns in the blink of an eye. But Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, and Frank Clark, they're the leaders on that defense. They've talked all week about being sound in their gaps, being sound in their pre-snap reads to make sure they're not in position to get burned when Jimmy Garoppolo has to throw it to Deebo Samuels and the other guys. And he can throw it. Yeah. He doesn't really have to do it a lot because the run game is so good, just like Tannehill. But we saw what the Chiefs did to them. They stopped Derrick Henry, albeit one dude, not 3. But when the Tannehill was forced into action, he didn't do so well, and that's what the Chiefs secondary is hoping will happen to Garoppolo coming up in the big game.
Yeah, it's funny how one bad performance early in a season can often – people just forget 6 great performances in a row, and here, yeah, they look really good right now.
It's just like when we go play golf, right? You don't remember the pars, right? You remember the snowman you had on the par 3, right? You don't remember the easy par on number 6. You remember duffing one out in the woods and hit one in the water, and then being in the sand on a 150-yard par 3, right?
Do you guys put arms on your snowman when you have it on your little hat on top?
The best club I have in my bag is the eraser. So no snowmans ever. Although it does snow in Kansas City, but not on the card.
It's snowmen. It's not snowman. There's more than one.
You got the whole family like people on the minivans they have on the back.
Right down the line. You talked about a legacy for a quarterback like Mahomes, and this has kind of been beaten to death. I think he's kind of shown what he's worth, Andy Reid, but you'd like to have that bow on the career. He's got more years ahead of him, but he's been there, so many good things, but he still has that label of, well, when's he going to win the big one? Could this be the time?
I believe so, and I think everyone is so invested to make sure that happens. Coach Reid, 15 playoff appearances, 221 wins, the most wins in the NFL without the Super Bowl trophy, and we've seen it all week long leading up to this game. There's nationwide sentiment. Even fans in Philly who don't like Andy Reid when he was there are rooting for him now to win, and the national media, a lot of other coaches and players are rooting for Coach Reid to finally get that big win because he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really good dude, and I think that's why everyone really wants him to win because he'll do anything for anybody. No job's too small for Coach Reid, and we're lucky to cover him on the daily basis because we get to see that side of him. Maybe some other people don't.
Well, I know if the Chiefs win, there'll be a lot of restaurants naming hamburgers after Coach Reid.
Already are.
Yeah. And then will the city of Kansas City change its name to the Kingdom?
That would be great. Or Mahomesville. Mahomes City, Patrick City.
Home Sweet Mahomes.
Yeah. Home Sweet Mahomes.
We
can use that.
All right.
I'll give you permission.
Home Sweet Mahomes.
All right, Rob, we got to cut you loose. Right. We got to talk 49ers right now.
Okay.
But thanks so much.
Appreciate y'all having us.
Good luck.
Chris,
we'll see you soon,
again, buddy.
Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Thanks, sir.
JB.